Hi, folks. As you know by now, on the night of December 29th, 2023, two Turkish football clubs, Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, were supposed to play their league Super Cup finale in the Saudi capital, Riyadh. Instead, the two teams refused to hit the pitch when Saudi officials denied some of their requests. I discussed the general context of that incident in my previous video. Click here to watch it. Here, I discuss some of the finer details of why this football row began and why it blew up so much. The latest crisis between Turkey and Saudi Arabia over a football match is actually not just about football. It relates to several unresolved tensions between the two countries. The most prominent one is the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in 2018. At the time, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had accused the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for that murder, a claim that was supported by the US Central Intelligence Agency. Ankara tried its utmost to put pressure on Saudi Arabia and admit to the crime and sought reparations. Instead, the COVID pandemic came and Turkey's economy began performing poorly. So Erdogan decided to lessen tensions and to seek investments and improve relations with the oil and capital-rich Saudis. To sweeten the deal, the Turkish government agreed to close the case with a promise that the Saudi agents who murdered Khashoggi would be tried and punished in Saudi courts, though we don't really know whatever came of the court case in Saudi Arabia. So that episode was a common retort by Turks who engaged in a social media slugfest with their Saudi counterparts on social media who argued that the Turks should abide by Saudi rules. Well, said the Turks, the Saudis never obey Turkish rules, so why should the Turks obey Saudi rules? Second, there are other long-term tensions between the two sides. Turkey is populous and militarily the most powerful country in the Middle East, and it has no problems pursuing its interests on its own terms, often through military means, sometimes even to the dislike of not only regional powers, but even global powers such as Russia and the United States. More often than not, Ankara doesn't take, fertilizer from anyone. Saudi Arabia, for its part, is a very wealthy country thanks to its oil riches. But while the Saudi military is equipped with some of the best US-made hardware, it's not very effective at accomplishing Riyadh's strategic goals, most notably in Yemen, and you can even argue in Qatar in 2017. So there is a lot of mutual jealousy on both sides for not having what the other side has. Third, and despite the breakdown in relations and subsequent rapprochement after the Khashoggi murder, Turkey and Saudi Arabia still don't see eye to eye on many regional problems. In the wake of Hamas's brutal October 7th attacks against Israeli civilians and the horrific Israeli onslaught against the Palestinian civilians in Gaza, which has claimed the lives of more than 20,000 civilians, nearly half of whom are children, Ankara and Riyadh have taken different sides. President Erdogan is openly endorsing the Palestinian cause, including Hamas, while Prince Mohammed bin Salman is secretly egging on the Israelis to pulverize Hamas. Fourth, and perhaps the most important reason why the football scandal in Saudi Arabia reached such a fever pitch in Turkey has to do with recent events in Turkey itself. Citizens opposed to President Erdogan had high hopes that the opposition parties would finally defeat him in last year's elections, yet the opposition failed to pull that out. So a lot of detractors of Erdogan are angry. And the football crisis in Riyadh really just helped them to vent those frustrations. Also, just the previous weekend, 12 young Turkish soldiers passed away in clashes with PKK militants in northern Iraq. The PKK is considered as a terrorist organization by Turkey, the United States, the European Union, and many other countries. One of the refrains that came out of that episode was that, the government declares a state of emergency for dead Saudi kings, but not for our own boys who were martyred defending the homeland. That was in reference to the Erdogan government's announcement of a day of mourning for the passing of the previous Saudi monarch, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, in January 2015. Now, that's a fair criticism, but I'm not sure if it's a Saudi problem. It's just something that we Turks have to figure out ourselves. There's still a lot more ground to cover, but I'll stop there for now. Watch this space for more commentary on history, geopolitics, and Middle Eastern and global affairs. To do that, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons below. And let me know what you think about the Turkish Saudi football business in the comment section.